My name is Ray, and I'm 23 years old. I don't come from a very wealthy family, so to make my life better, I work hard day and night. I used to live in an apartment with my roommate. He was a nice and kind person. All my hard work paid off, and I got a great job in a proper office, but this didn't make my life easier, since I still had to work hard to keep this job, as they paid quite more than my expectations. I was only focused on my work. I wasn't paying much attention to my mental health, which was getting worse day by day. It started with small headaches. I just ignored them until they got more intense. I went to the doctor. He told me that my body wasn't getting enough rest. I didn't want to stop working now just because of my body not getting rest. I would just take some painkillers to stop the headaches. I didn't tell my roommate because he would prefer me to take a break from work, which I didn't want. I liked my roommate. He was kind of like a brother to me. But few days after my headaches had started, he passed away in an accident. I got really depressed. I started working even more to get rid of all the stress and depression. A week after he died, I had my first sleep paralysis. It was a creepy experience. I came back home from work and went to bed, as it was an exhausting day for me. The first sleep paralysis episode started. I woke up around 2 a.m. I couldn't move my body. I could only roll my eyes. So I started looking around, trying to move my body, until I noticed someone sitting in the corner of the room on my roommate's side. I tried to focus on what it was until it moved and I woke up. I was terrified since I wasn't a brave soul. I thought it was just a nightmare. I wanted a new roommate after this experience. I posted stuff online for a new roommate and went to work again. The whole day, I couldn't get the image of someone sitting in the corner out of my head. I was slacking out at work because of this. I still had my headaches, which were making it even harder to work. I asked the manager for the day off, and he agreed to it and asked me if everything was all right. I just told him I wasn't feeling good and was going to relax for the day. I went back to get lunch and headed back to my apartment. I checked for any replies on my post about a new roommate, and surprisingly, there was one. I talked to him for about 15 minutes. I told him all about the place and shared the address in detail. We even shared our faces. He looked like a nice person too. It made me happy. He said he was going to come tomorrow because it was late now. I went to bed excited, but again, my eyes opened at 2 a.m. I couldn't move my body. I was getting cold sweats. I quickly looked at the corner where I saw something or someone sitting, but I didn't see anything. For some reason, I felt relieved until I moved my eyes to the side of my room, and there he was. But it was standing this time, waving at me. My soul was going to leave my body. I was horrified. I woke up after 1 minute of him waving, which felt like an hour to me. After that, I couldn't go back to sleep. It was my day off, so I slept a lot that day. I woke up at 11 a.m. in the morning and had breakfast and waited for my roommate while thinking about what happened last night. My roommate arrived around 1 p.m. I helped him get settled since I had nothing better to do. We talked and shared a lot of stuff since we were going to be living together. I told him about the sleep paralysis nightmares I'd been having. He got excited because he was into horror and thrilling stuff. I felt protected now since he was here and thought that the episodes would stop. My roommate and I got to know each other really well. Time flew by and it was night. We had dinner and I went to bed early because I had to work tomorrow. He was still up talking to his family. I went to sleep hoping I wouldn't wake up, and before I knew it, I was up. I looked at the time and it was 6 a.m. and I could move my body. I happily went to change my clothes. I noted a bruise on my left leg. It was weird, but I didn't pay much attention to it and went to work while my roommate was still asleep. I carried on with my day as usual. I also got a promotion. My life was all set. I went home and called my roommate for dinner, but he wasn't home. Apparently, he was at a party. I left his food in the fridge and left him a message before going to bed. I woke up at 2 a.m. again. I looked around, saw nothing except my roommate sleeping, but I couldn't move my body. I noticed my roommate getting up in his blanket all around him, and it wasn't my roommate. It was the thing from my sleep paralysis. It jumped at me, and I woke up. It was only a nightmare, but whatever that thing was, it wasn't human. It attacked me the same way it did in my nightmare. I woke up with another bruise on my stomach this time. I could even see wet, slimy footprints of that thing. It was still night, and I was terrified until the doorbell rang. It scared me even more, but it was my roommate coming home at 3 a.m. I didn't tell him what happened. I just told him I was working late. I went back to bed, and the footprints were gone. I was relieved that my roommate was here. I told him to come back early because I can get terrified to sleep alone. I kept thinking about how to stop these nightmares and how they are affecting my physical condition, making the bruises on my body. I've been seeing that thing for 4 days. I took a trip to the doctor. He just said it was because of lack of rest and stuff. I showed him the bruises I had. He just said that you've been hit by something, but it was painless for me. I just wanted this to be over. My headaches were still bad. All the medical treatments I had been doing were not working, so I had to change the meds to something stronger, which wasn't good for my body. I asked my manager for another day off. He granted it to me since I've been regular before this. I went to bed in the middle of the day, and my headache was better. I stayed up late that night, but eventually fell asleep at 12 a.m. with my roommate. I was hoping that I wouldn't see that thing again, but this time, it was the worst. I woke up at 3 a.m. this time, and that thing was there in the corner. It got my attention and started to come towards me. I was trying my best to move my body, but it was useless, as the demon came on top of me. I was scared. I couldn't even look at its face. It started choking me until I was out of breath, and when I was going to faint, it left, and I woke up. I saw my roommate was still asleep, and it must have been because he couldn't hear me being choked. I was truly terrified. The next day, I looked on the internet for sleep paralysis, did some research on it, but my case was completely different from what they said on the internet. You aren't supposed to wake up having bruises or any other type of physical damage to your body. After reading this, I searched for sleep paralysis demons and found nothing. So, I opened the dark web and searched again. I found something similar to my case. A wet, slimy demon haunts you in your sleep paralysis around 2 a.m., which is the first stage, and the last stage is 4 a.m. At 4 a.m., he kills you in your sleep. The demon was known as Boba, and it was a killer from the ancient times who used to choke people in their sleep. He was drowned alive by the people of that time. That's why he was always wet. Reading this terrified me to my core. I didn't want to die. I told my roommate about it, but he thought I was just messing with him. Time flew by, and it was night again. I planned on staying awake all night to stop this demon from coming. I drank loads of coffee to stay awake. When it was 2 a.m., I started to get scared. Before I knew it, it was 3 a.m., but the demon wasn't here. It was 3:30 a.m., and suddenly I couldn't move my body. I was sure that I didn't fall asleep and couldn't understand why this was happening. The demon was there again, in the corner, approaching me. My roommate was awake with me, but in my sleep paralysis, I couldn't see him. We kept the lights on, but it was dark. The demon was on top of me again and started choking me even harder as he lifted me in the air. I thought I was a dead man. Suddenly, the sleep paralysis was over, and my roommate was there, terrified. I told him what I saw and what the demon did to me, and that he was going to kill me the next time he came. My roommate could see me being choked and being lifted in the air, but no demon. He told me that we should visit a priest or someone who knows about demons. We looked up people and found one near our area. In the morning, we went to visit him and told him about my situation. The demon had left scars and bruises around my neck, and I showed them to the person to make him understand. He told me the same thing I found on the internet. He also told me the demon can now be summoned by a curse. He explained that someone had put a curse on me. I was creeped out to hear this. I asked him how to stop it, and he said that the only way to stop him is to find the curse. The curse had to be near me in order for it to work. We went back and searched the whole room, but we found nothing. My roommate had a weird idea, as he was into horror movies. He told me to open my mattress. We cut open the mattress, and there was a black box with blood and my picture inside. He took the box back to the shop of that person. He did some magic or something on it, and my sleep paralysis stopped. I examined the blood inside the box, and it turned out to be my old roommate's, whom I thought was a nice person, but he put a curse on me and died during the process. I really thought he was nice, and I learned that the kind soul and decent people can be deceiving. I told my roommate about it, and even he was surprised. Later on, I bought a house and never lived in apartments again.